Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your buddy, Fredo, and today we're diving into something really fascinating and incredibly powerful, hypnotic language patterns. Imagine having the ability to speak directly to a woman's subconscious mind, making her feel an irresistible attraction to you without her even realizing it. Sounds like a superpower, right? Well, it's not as far-fetched as it seems. But first, let's talk about a common problem. So, many of us have been there, right? We all know how important it is to create deep emotional connections with women. But, let's be truthful, most guys totally suck at this. You might have experienced this yourself, trying to strike a deep conversation with her only to see her eyes glaze over as she loses interest. This happens to most guys. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. Now, picture this instead. What if I told you there's a way to capture her attention that she can't help but to be totally mesmerized by you? What if you can speak directly to her subconscious mind and create that deep connection with you? Well, the solution lies in mastering hypnotic language patterns, a powerful verbal technique that does two things. First, it allows you to bypass her conscious defenses. And second, it speaks directly to her subconscious mind. As Rake from Shogun method will tell you, it's an essential technique that can make or break your success with women. Indeed, without this skill, you risk missing out on meaningful connections, leaving you stuck in a cycle of rejections and breakups. Imagine that. Missed opportunities, failed relationships, and frustration. It's a painful reality. But guess what? It doesn't have to be your reality. And here's the good news. You can learn 5 hypnotic language patterns today. Rake has usually kept these under lock and key in the Shogun community, but I've gotten permission from Derek to give you a sneak peek today here in this video. If you like what I'm showing you so far, click the like button right now because that'll encourage me to share even more little-known knowledge like this with you later. Go on and click like now because I'll wait here. Done? Thank you. Let's continue. As I was saying, hypnotic language patterns are a hypnotic tactic that allows you to bypass a woman's conscious defenses and speak directly to her subconscious mind. This technique is rooted in the principles of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, a psychological approach that focuses on the connection between language and behavior. So, what exactly are hypnotic language patterns? Well, as the name implies, these are conversational patterns that involve using specific words and phrases that trigger specific emotional responses. As Rake taught us Shoguns, we can make a woman feel and think anything as long as we know the words or phrases that lead to certain emotions in her. Some words and phrases carry a level of importance to us because we have associated certain emotions with them in our lives. Others are more generic and create the same effect on every woman. For instance, if you say, imagine if, or what if to a woman, you open her mind to new possibilities while creating a sense of curiosity and intrigue. In fact, inside Shogun method, there's a powerful technique called the future projection routine that creates an imaginary world in her mind, making her fantasize about a future of you and her together. So, here's the easiest way to use a hypnotic language pattern. Plant ideas in her mind by prefacing them with imagine if or what if. Imagine if somehow we get together in the future. What if we can escape somewhere and leave all our troubles behind? Imagine we just quit our jobs and be free, you and me. Or let's say you're an advanced Shogun method practitioner and you've already put her under trance. You can then use this technique to plant fantasies in her mind because the female brain can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. You can say, imagine surrendering to me and letting me take you wherever I want. You know what I'd love to do with you? I'd pick you up one morning and take you to my vacation home. Well, my castle, on the edge of a mountain, with an amazing view of the sea. And I'd give you your own room. You could spruce it up however you liked. Wall-to-wall pink, marble worktops, you name it. We could even take you out to the forest nearby, and you could ride some of the unicorns there, and I'd be able to come back there anytime I wanted, knowing I get to see you, and you could tell me about all the wondrous sights you've seen. So, to summarize the first hypnotic language pattern technique, here's what to do. Preface an imaginary scenario involving you and her with imagine if or what if. Now, here's the second hypnotic language pattern, implanted commands. What are implanted commands? In Shogun method, These are subtle suggestions hidden within a larger sentence. These suggestions are hidden so that they bypass the conscious mind's defenses. Remember, what a woman cannot detect, she cannot block. And trust me, when you get the hang of this, it can make your advances seem completely natural, almost like it's their idea. An easy way to understand implanted commands is to think of them as little phrases you sneak into regular conversation. They're like the suggestions that bypass the conscious mind and go straight to the subconscious. The best part? When you do it right, the person you're talking to won't even realize what's happening. They'll just start feeling things that seem totally normal to them. Let's take a closer look at how this works. Imagine you're talking to a woman, and you say something like, "You might start to feel a strong connection with me." Now, on the surface, that sounds like just another sentence, right? But embedded in there is a little command, feeling a strong connection with me. It's subtle, but powerful. Or maybe you're on a date, and you drop this line, "As you listen to my voice, you'll want to be closer." Again, it's a simple statement, but it's planting the idea of wanting to be closer, something she might not even have considered until you suggested it. Here's another one. It's natural to realize that you're attracted to someone who understands you. Embedded in there is the suggestion. You're attracted to someone who understands you. It frames attraction as something inevitable, making the listener more likely to feel it. And, of course, some shoguns use implanted commands to make women aroused sexually. But I'll let your imagination and creativity run wild on how to do that. If you want some examples that I use, PM me. So, how do you use these commands effectively? The trick is all in the delivery. You want to be subtle, so subtle that it just feels like a normal part of the conversation. One technique that really helps us is what we call blotching. It's where you might lower your voice a little, pause slightly, or even make a slight gesture when you deliver the command. These little cues make it more likely that the listener's subconscious will pick up on what you're really saying. And don't forget, these commands should fit naturally into whatever you're talking about. If they feel forced or out of place, they won't work nearly as well. Use them consistently, but don't overdo it. A well-timed command can have a tremendous impact, but too many, and you might begin to seem a little too obvious. And remember, covertness is essential for Shogun method to work. But that's not all. The next hypnotic language pattern trick is what Shoguns call the Sensorial Hack. Rake describes this in rich detail inside Shogun method, but here's what it is in summary. Describe an experience with sensory-rich language. Use terms relating to sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. This makes the conversation more vivid and engaging. Don't say, "We had a great time." Instead, say, "We laughed so hard that our sides hurt, and the smell of fresh popcorn filled the air." This creates a more immersive experience. There are a few other hypnotic language patterns in Shogun method like Intrigue Pings and open loops. The best way to explain how these work is through a practical example where we'll put all 5 patterns into use. Ready? Let's go. Let's say you've approached a woman and began striking a rapport with her. First, start with what Shoguns call the Intrigue Ping. In Shogun method, intrigue generation is always the first step in the process of attraction. We call this the IRA model, and you can get to download a free book on this at iramodel.com. So, here's what to do in the intrigue generation stage. Ask her a question that piques her interest and generates intrigue. For example, say, "Have you ever wondered what it would be like to travel the world with no plans? What if you just pack and go? No itinerary, just pure adventure. What do you think you'd discover about yourself?" Wait for her response, and then offer yours. Use this opportunity to deploy this sensorial hack. For instance, say, "Imagine walking through a bustling market, the smell of fresh spices in the air, and the sound of vendors calling out their wares." Then, incorporate emotional triggers by using words and phrases that evoke intense, sometimes sexual, emotions. For example, think back to a time when you felt truly happy and carefree. What was happening around you? How did you feel? Cycle through all 3 patterns, and then hit her with implanted commands by embedding subtle suggestions within your sentences. For instance, say, "I wonder how quickly you'll realize how much you enjoy spending time with me." And, for good measure, at the end, create an open loop. Start a captivating story and then pause or change the subject, creating a sense of curiosity and anticipation. Say, "I have the most amazing story about my trip to Italy, but I'll tell you about it later." Guess what happens? You'll linger in her mind for long, and given enough time, she'll seduce herself to you automatically. You've hypnotized her into falling in love with you, and she won't even realize what's happening. It's true. Here's the thing. By mastering hypnotic language patterns, you'll have the superpowers to create deep emotional connections with any woman. Just think about being able to captivate any woman's attention and speak directly to her subconscious mind, making her feel a deep connection with you. What will you do with that superpower? Think about it. So, to summarize, here are the 5 hypnotic language patterns we covered today. 1. The what-if future projection tactic. This plants ideas and fantasies in a woman's mind without her realizing it. 2. Implanted commands. This unique Shogun method technique inserts suggestions that bypass a woman's conscious mind and go straight into her subconscious. 3. Sensorial hacks. These give your words and phrases emotional color that highly appeal to women. 4. Intrigue Pings. These are short openers that generate intrigue and capture a woman's attention. And 5. Open loops. This is a storytelling device that makes you stick in a woman's mind so she thinks about what you said even long after the interaction. Got all that? Good. Now, before we wrap up, I have something extra special for you. If you found this knowledge interesting and you're eager to learn more hypnotic language patterns, sign up for our Shogun Method Online Masterclass. This masterclass dives deep into the fractionation technique, perhaps the grandest of all hypnotic language patterns we discussed today. And here's the best part, it's completely free. By joining, you'll gain access to exclusive insights and advanced strategies that can elevate your women's skills to a whole new level. Imagine being able to create an irresistible attraction with ease, using techniques that work on a subconscious level. That's the power of fractionation, and the Shogun Method team is ready to share it with you. So, go ahead and sign up for the Shogun Method Online Masterclass. It's a real game changer, and the natural next step in your journey to mastering the art Shogun Method style seductive hypnosis. You can find the link to sign up in the video description below or visit fractionation.org. Catch this opportunity to take your skills to the next level. You'll want to do this. Trust me. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep practicing, keep experimenting, and remember, the key to a woman's heart is through her subconscious mind. In the meantime, sign up for the Shogun Method Masterclass at fractionation.org. You'll also get to join the worldwide Shogun Method Brotherhood while it's still open today. Do it now. fractionation.org.